We are overcast, slight shower, Nova Scotia, our last day here. So far we've caught 2, 3, and 1, 6 giants here. And just want to ramble at you a little bit about tackle.
We just caught a swordfish, rod and reel.
We're ready now. It's on.
So much I want to tell you between, you know, fishing this fishery and fishing blue marlin. But first, let's start talking about the gear here. James Roberts is right there setting up for us, and hopefully we'll get interrupted with a bite. Penn International 130. These are custom rods. These rods are much thicker, stiffer than the marlin fishing. And you notice the overbuilt sort of hardware down here, including the custom sort of reel seat to keep the torque in control. But the biggest thing about this reel that Penn, Okuma, Shimano, the gear where the settings are should be close to the angler instead of being on the bottom. That is a huge mistake, in my opinion, and I'll talk about why for a second. But if you guys can get to it, that the drag settings here are marked at 10 all the way to 90. So when we're marlin fishing, we top out at 70. Most guys, you know, have it around 50 or so, but we have ours at 70. This is at 90, and I will tell you that life starts at 50. Everything changes at 50. The leverage point, the way that you use the chair, the way that you pull, everything changes at 50. Good luck, Tiny! So James also, in addition to customizing the position of the handle, he has a custom handle on here and a custom grip that swivels. Took me a little bit of getting used to. Kind of like it. Sometimes I don't, but it works very well. But the gear ratios are changed here. So the low here has been changed to 0.7 for maximum torque. The high gears kept the same, right, James?
Yep.
High gears at 2. So for blue marlin fishing, we've changed ours. Low gear 1.5 and the high gear of 2.7. And that's for us, it's really ideal for blue marlin fishing. You know, once the tuna gets you straight up and down, and you know, as you get into a little bit later in the fight, 10-15 minutes or so, that's when you start creeping up 50, 60s. We just caught one that was 700 pounds, and it was a great fight, but we were lucky to get it in 18 minutes, and I ended up at 70 plus pounds on that fish. But we crept it up, and when they start doing that giant orbit or giant death circle, that's when you got to put the heat to it. But what's interesting about it is, you know, the fighting chair. The fighting chair design has been pretty much the same design for the last century or so. And the fighting chair is designed as almost like a one-size-fits-all. And, you know, you go towards hats or clothing, it's hard to find a one-size-fits-all that has a custom fit. So that's one of the things that we're trying to figure out for the BADCO 50 is how do we get a chair that is more suited for our style. And what I noticed is that on this particular chair, that the heavier the drag, the higher my feet goes. So my feet gets up here, and then as soon as so my feet is up here as a heavy drag, and if the fish starts orbiting and the drag starts to pull off and the pressure comes off to 40-50 pounds, my feet comes up to right here, because down here you get a better balance to get yourself up on the teeter-totter position. If you have it up here, the body doesn't teeter-totter, especially with my displacement. So it's been really fun fishing this reel with 0.7 versus the 1.5 on a blue marlin, which still works. A lot of times we get a blue marlin that goes down a dog's nest, or unfortunately sometimes they die and they become dead weight down there, and that's when you really get that stretch. But what we need to figure out in the fighting chair is how to move those straps so that when as an angler, when the reel is closest to you, it allows you to teeter-totter a lot more, use the displacement. But if you want to use your legs and push, you really need that reel to be further away from you. And what we found is that there's really no one size fits all. under pressure, you want the straps and the harness to be shorter, and then in medium pressure, you want it to be a little bit longer so that you can get your hands in front of the reel rather than having the reel back here. But people have asked, what pulls harder, tuna or marlin? Well, there's a reason there's 90 pounds here, and marlin fishing is 50 to 70 pounds. Tuna does pull harder, but they fight different. And I would say one's NASCAR and one's F1. It just depends on your particular flavor and what excites you the most. But we've had an amazing time out here. We're only in, 80 feet of water, Obi? Only 80 feet of water. So our last day, we all had a chance to fight it in the chair, and it's just been amazing. But that's your tackle talk for the day.